My name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads. Now, where is it that an entrepreneur can begin? There are roughly 3 ways that an entrepreneur can start, or 3 things to consider at least. First thing to consider is your mindset, your belief, your attitude, or what this in here is telling yourself and what you're believing. Because you are your own, realistically, you are your own worst enemy. You are your own, worst enemy. If you've got a rotten attitude, negative belief, horrible thoughts, always complaining, stuff like that, you're not going to go anywhere. You've got to solve this problem here, which is your beliefs, your attitude, what you're thinking, what you're saying to yourself, what your thought processes are, what your beliefs are. As I started business years ago, I used to believe, when I wouldn't make a sale, that I used to believe one of 2 things actually. One, that it's okay. I'm not allowed to make a profit anyway. I'm not allowed. No, not allowed. Other one, I'd then say something on the lines of, it's okay. I can't make money anyway. I'm cursed. I'm cursed. I was always quantifying why I wasn't making money on something else that was out of my control. I'm not allowed. I got a curse. It's something else, and you have to destroy this in one way or another. For me, I destroyed it in my second business because it just obliterated them, completely obliterated them. But some other ways of destroying it is just to start small. In money and time you can afford to lose. So when you see some successes, some small successes, over time, repeatedly, consistently, these will totally undermine, totally make redundant, make obsolete these beliefs. Because how can you be cursed? How can you not be allowed to make money if you're making money? It doesn't make sense. So obviously between the two, obviously the realistic one that we can tangibly observe is much more relevant and much more truthful than the beliefs. So those are gone, and mindset just increases. Other thing, read books as well. There's a great book I've got here, and this video is not sponsored. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a damn good start. It's probably I wouldn't say better, but there's some books out there that's a bit more esoteric with regards to the mind. Most books by Deepak Chopra, probably also like the 48 Laws of Power, different attitudes and mindset. Because you got to change your mindset and attitude, your perspective on money, on success, on rich people, on belief, on self-confidence first. Because again, if you don't have the belief that you can go out there and do something, you never will. There's a quote by, I can't remember, some basketball player, I can't remember who it was, I'm not really into basketball, but it says, you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Basketball. You will miss all the chance of scoring a hoop, I don't know what it's called, a goal, I'm not sure. You will miss all the chances of getting a goal when you don't take them. Yes, it's like, you will get nothing in life if you do nothing. If you do nothing now, you're going to get nothing later on. You will miss 100% of the opportunities that you don't simply try and take. Or I'm trying to take this opportunity, so I'm trying to go for that goal. I'm going for the hoop. I'm going for the hoop, and I'm going to get something. I'm going to get something back. So, if you don't strive to do something, you're going to get nowhere. Simply because in a race, you're not actually turning the engine on in a car race. You're not turning the engine on. Wasting time, mate. Losing time. You're losing momentum. Get going. Other thing worth considering is that you want to endeavour to start a business as cheap as possible, as leveraged as possible, as optimised as possible. You don't need to start something big right out the bat from day one. You can just start something very small, very leveraged, very micro niche, very specific, very something trending today. And there's a quote by Reid Hoffman, the guy who started LinkedIn, that I really like, which is, if you aren't embarrassed with the first iteration of something, then you waited too long. you've got to just create something basic, small, a minimal viable product, some would say, and get it out there. Bootstrap it, the basics, and get it out there. Some would also say you need a minimal viable validating product as well, because anyone can create something basic, but it's going to be validating, meaning the market's going to want it. So if you can go on to say Kickstarter, for example, or Angel Investor, and if you get customers or cash right at the beginning, if you go on Kickstarter, for example, and say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, make a damn good professional Kickstarter page and say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, who wants to help me, who wants to fund me, and people are paying you money already, and yet you've got no physical product, and yet you've got cash, and the campaign was a success, then you got the money, and go out and build it then. Because that means that there's existing demand, even before you've tried to create the supply. And that's something quite cutting edge. And also at the same time more of a difficult to pull off, because the campaign is going to be damn good convincing, but it's going to be convincing when you got nothing in theory. You might need a prototype, but then anyway, a prototype would help certainly, but yeah, a prototype you'll need for a campaign, but a prototype is a bit hard to achieve when you don't. If you try not to get supply first, but you're trying to prove there's demand and prove that you can satisfy demand, then you're going to need a prototype, which I suppose you need to create. Yeah, and no, don't worry about that. Anyway, the point is, if you can find a buyer before you even sold anything, before you even got anything to sell, then that's the way you're validating your business and that it will work. And that means you're not really wasting your time. You're buying something, getting started, and discover there's no demand for it, or no one really cares, or whatever. But if you can find a buyer, if you find a seller already, then you got an advantage right from day one. Other thing worth considering is that you want to leverage existing operations and systems and trends. For example, Netflix. This is a prime good example. Netflix, they started off using discs in the post, Royal Mail or postal services, and FedEx, for example, FedEx. So what they did was, you picked what films you wanted, and they shipped those films to you in the post. Very good. That was much more competitive than having a Blockbusters model where they have an online physical store, and you have to drive there, pick up your stuff, and go home. Because people could just online order the things they want, it comes to them in the post. They ain't got to go anywhere. It's much more leveraged. And then Netflix goes on to then using streaming. So what Netflix did was, they had a paradigm shift by using existing systems and operations, postal system and online internet streaming to deliver the product, whereas the competitors weren't. They were doing, Blockbusters were doing physical. By leveraging existing products, existing services, FedEx and the internet, Netflix was able to exist, able to be profitable. Right, because if Netflix had to build the postal system and build the internet system, Netflix would struggle, or certainly be a completely different business model than what it is now, where they have to own the space. I started a business about 2 years ago where I'm selling things online. I just sell things online. I have the traffic, I fill the order, and I put it in the postal system. If I had to build the postal system, it'd be a completely different business. It'd be it'd be massive. Headaches and finance and all the rest. It'd be a completely different world. If you sell on e-commerce, look into Shopify. Don't build your own website. Hell to that. Just get a Shopify package and build it yourself. Or the basics. The cart is all there. You ain't gonna bother with compliance with the WorldPay or anything like that, or credit and debit cards. Just link it all together and pay $40 a month. So much cheaper than building your own website. So you use existing systems out there. Don't just try and build everything from scratch. See what you can leverage. Amazon for selling online. eBay is all for selling online. Don't bother. You ain't got to build a website. You just create an Amazon account and done. And if you want to get your product shipped, Royal Mail or FedEx, for example, there's always something out there that you can use, creatively, to help your business succeed. You haven't got to own the entire space. Uber is another example. They own like next to no cars, and yet that's what their entire business is all about. All about cars and middleman. arbitrage almost, but they own no cars. Airbnb, they're all about hospitality. And yet Airbnb owe next to no real estate. All they do is they're a middleman that allows people, that connects them. I've got a spare room, someone needs a room, they need a room, they found me through Airbnb, boom, it works. Leverage as much systems as possible, because you don't really want to own things, you want access. I access the Royal Mail system to ship things. I access Google and SEO to get customers. Netflix, they access, I don't know, FedEx or whatever it is, the postal system in the States, to ship the stuff. And they access the internet to stream it. Or I can access Shopify. I don't own the domain, I don't own the infrastructure, I don't have to handle the servers or pay the people wages. I just access the packages they have and use it. Amazon, who want to sell on Amazon. I have some books on Amazon. I don't own the printing machines. I don't own the warehouses. But I'm accessing the domain. I'm accessing the infrastructure. I'm accessing the website. People can buy my stuff on Amazon. Oh, done. Access. Access, not ownership. So that's the third one. Be as creative as possible, because you don't want to own and create the entire system. You know, A to Z. Only the parts that you can leverage. Only the parts that you really need, like the website domain, the infrastructure, the marketing funnel. But everything else, leverage as much as possible. You don't want to dive in. You don't want to dive into business with all these massive headaches from day one. So the question of the day is, I'm trying to think. How are you starting? What are you doing now to start your business? What are you doing now? Oddly enough, I've recently started this channel. I created about 200 videos based on some of my books, but then I realised some mistakes I was making with regards to the kind of content, regards to the type of content I was creating. So I'm pivoting slightly. I'm starting just by creating content out there, creating bulk content, uploading it one a day, pushing it out into the world, and then while I'm doing that, I'm then going out into, say, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and probably a few others, and messaging people to give them a free book, give them a free hours consulting, or messaging people to figure out if I can do free speaking engagements at their business or in their hall or something like that. Finding people that I can work with to build my personal brand. That's what I'm doing now to get started and get momentum going, reputation and word of mouth, and get things happening, get things going. I've come to realise that unfortunately in business it all starts off slow. It all starts off shitty slow, and then it goes up and up and up and up. It almost like a hockey curve almost. I say unfortunately because it's not like here, you know, it's not up here from day one. It takes time, and it's like, ugh, it takes time. But at the same time though, it's bloody well worth it. Because, and this is what I urge you to do as well, as an entrepreneur, we want to live the life other people will not live. I'm not doing that. Ugh, no thank you. People that will not do, you know, will not live. So in the future, you and I can live the life other people cannot live. They cannot live it. They're thinking, how did he do that? That lucky bastard. What's he done so differently? How? It's like, rather than going along here, or that even in life, or this in life, I've gone here, and I've gone up here, because I'm doing things that other people will not do. Exact same with entrepreneurship. Over the weekend, Saturday I was working. Sunday I had off, unfortunately, for one or two reasons. But Saturday I'm just working, doing some stuff, researching, planning, strategizing, while other people are off, you know, enjoying themselves in the day. Nothing wrong with that. But as entrepreneurs, we've got to realise that we need to do the things other people will not do, so in the future we can live the life other people cannot live. So bear that in mind. So the question of the day again is, what are you doing now to get started? What are you doing? It's either in here or out here in the world. What are you doing now? That's the question of the day. Also remember that this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So go out in the world today and do something remarkable. But before you do that though, click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads. How cool is that?